The fastest way to lose a video editing client isn't with bad editing. It's by missing deadlines. So today I'll give you eight bulletproof tricks so you never miss a deadline again. Let's start with the simplest trick that instantly makes clients trust you more. The first trick is under-promise and over-deliver. So what this means, let's just say a client comes to you and he says, okay, what's the ETA? When can I expect the video? You should tell your clients, let's say for example, if it needs 2 days, you should tell your client it needs 4 days, even if you think it actually needs 2. What you should do then is finish off the project in less than 2 days or in 1 to 2 days and send it early. Now what this does is you will look like the fastest editor they've ever worked with, and the clients will trust you more next time and perhaps choose you over someone else they've worked with before. The next trick is build a fake buffer inside your real deadline. So let's just say your client says, I need it in 48 hours. What you should do and do to yourself, not to your client, is promise it to yourself by tomorrow night. Okay, what this means is instead of 48 hours, it only takes like 40 hours or 24 hours. What this gives you is a safety window before the project truly ends or before your project deadline hits. So what this means is if Premiere Pro crashes or if After Effects bugs out, which happens to me all the time, then you're still covered because you expected that and you calculated in and you still finished that early. The next thing is start with the fastest task first. And this has been a game changer to me. Now, what this means is open up your timeline once you've rough cutted the video and then just look for the easiest 40, 50, 60% of the work that you could just finish in one go and just hustle through as fast as possible. So that could be text animations, it could be adding B-roll, it could be also some smaller, faster animations that you can just get done faster, or you can just use a template for it and not have to do it manually and doesn't take up you hours on your time. So you don't go from the video from left to right and you just go as the video goes and you kind of fix it up, you kind of animate, then you add B-roll. Rather, you would just handpick the single animations or handpick the single things you want to add to the video, and you do those smaller things, those faster things first, and you knock out all those things in one sitting, and then you just go back to this bigger task a bit later. So what this does is you knock out the most of the stuff in one sitting, which gives you a lot of momentum. Not only that, but also a lot of dopamine, which also helps you to remove the procrastination that is inside your brain, which of course all editors here are dealing with sometimes. Now, for example, what it looks like in my workflow or my process is I usually go through text animations first. So what this means is once I'm done rough cutting the video, I go through the video and I add couple notes. Okay, this is where I want to add a big animation. This is where I want to add text animation. This is for B-roll. This is where I want to blend in B-roll. And then I just go through the fastest text animations, which I can just copy and paste and just hustle through it as fast as possible. And then boom, all of a sudden, 40 to 50% of the video is usually already done. Next thing is color code your timeline before you start animating. Now, what this means is once you finish your rough cutting, what I want you to do is add markers. We already talked about it. Once I finish my rough cutting, I go through the footage, I go through the video in itself, and not only that, but I also add markers where I want to add certain animations or what exactly I want to animate. So it's kind of like a creativity brainstorming round where I go through the video after I'm done with rough cutting. What this gives me is of course a huge disadvantage because I need a bit longer time. If the video is 20 minutes long, it's an extra 20 to 30 minutes for me to go through the video and add ideas. But what it also gives me, it removes maybe 2 to 5 hours each project to actually brainstorm and create the vision in my head for this video before I start the first animation. And how I do it is usually when I add blue color, that means I want to add some motion graphics here, some bigger animation. White means text animation, so just appearing text on screen or on the on the talking head like camera. Then I have yellow, which usually means B-roll, or sometimes also blue means B-roll. Now this helps your brain to see the finish line faster, earlier, and it will also help with your creativity, and you have less procrastination going on inside your head, inside your mindset, because everything is super straightforward what you have to do next and what you can finish right now, for example, the text animations, and get as much done as possible in as little time as possible. The next trick is write a next day scoreboard. Now, what does that mean? What I want you to do is gamify kind of your session. What I like to do is, maybe you've seen my vlog, which I've uploaded a couple weeks prior to this, is when you end one session of animating, write down the next things you want to take care of the next day. So what this means, you could do 12 text animations, or add 3 B-roll parts, or add 9 big animations to the video, and then try to hit that. So what I'm doing usually is I just count how many animations there are left on the timeline right now, and I just go ahead and just plan the next day and try to hit, for example, if I have 50 animations left on the video, I just try to hit 25, for example, which is very realistic, and try to get 25 animations as fast as possible done the next day. This way you try to beat the score, and that gamification helps you with getting more things done faster. The next thing is super big. It was a true game changer for me, and I think if you just do this one thing in this video, if you just take away one thing from this video, then it's by using a SOP. An SOP means a standard operation procedure, or a copy and paste checklist for your workflow. Now, I have included my SOP that I have spent hours and days on writing inside the Editing Elite, which is the first link down below. So if you want, you can join the Editing Elite. I help you to go from 0 to 5K per month as a video editor, and how to become a YouTube expert, not just another editor for your clients. But what an SOP is, it is a sheet that shows you exactly what your next steps are in full detail. Because the first very big thing, once I started working with a big channel, he had over 1.4 million subscribers at that point, and I joined the team, and the first thing I learned is that you're only as good as the systems that you can fall back onto once something goes wrong. So when something goes wrong, you're procrastinating, you're doing this and that, and you're quite unsure what to do next, then you will fail if you don't have a strong system or a stable system backing you, which you can fall back on and always go back to and be like, okay, well, now I know what to do next. So it can be very straightforward, and I'm just giving you a couple of examples here. For example, template folder structure already on Drive. What this means is, I overcomplicated how I wrote it. What this means is you should always have a template folder. Template folder means you just download the footage and you just drag and drop it into a footage folder, and you just download the graphics that your client provided to you or that you want to download later for animations, and you all store them all in one graphics folder. And then you have your sound effects folder that you would like to use, and you have your dedicated whatever effects folder that you use on every single project. And also, of course, your Premiere Pro files and your After Effects files all in one folder. So what this means, you don't have to chase around your hard drive all the time, but you have everything you need for this one project. Every single asset, every single file is in one dedicated folder, which is a template folder. You can just copy and paste it, and you can just use it for the next project instantly. And the SOP itself is just written down your steps one by one. For example, your first step could be duplicate the template folder, okay? The second task could be drop the footage into the template folder, which is super specific, right? It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make actually sense to write that down on a paper. You already knew that, how to do that. But still, it is an SOP, which is a standard operating procedure. So it should have all the standards that you have to do every single time you want to edit a video, everything written down in the most detailed way possible. Now, you don't have to write down what keys you have to press, but still it definitely will help you to write at least down the next steps. So for example, sync the audio, then rough cut the video, then add markers, then add the animations, then add the color correction, then the sound design, then export it, then upload it, then get feedback, and then re-export it. All these steps, I think I have like 12 to 13 steps in my SOP, should be written down inside the sheet, inside your checklist, okay? So with this, you will have less thinking and less procrastination with that. The next super important hack is pre-edit before you get the footage. Let me explain this with a story. There was once where I worked with this big channel, again, 1.56 million subscribers, and we had a tight deadline. It was very difficult for me to hit that. Even if I was working like all day long, it would have been very almost impossible to hit the deadline sometimes. And shout out to Ben, to my mentor who teach me this thing, is when you have the script available or your next video topic or some parts that are 100% that are going to appear in the video. So for example, a script, okay? So if you have a script for the next video, start by animating ahead. When I did this, I got a lot of files done way faster. I figured out the design for the video. I figured out a couple of animations for the video even before it was recorded, even before I got the footage. I worked ahead of the video. Now, what this means, I was reading the script, I was building some placeholder animations or some things that I knew for a fact that I would need in the video based on the script or even without the script. And I built some graphics and some dummy titles as well. And the real video and the files were recorded and landed at my desk or in my storage. I just drag and drop those animations inside of the video instead of just starting cold from scratch. This saves around 1 to 4+ hours. It depends on how much you can work up front, and it helps you to deliver the projects faster and on deadline, especially if you know there's a video coming up. This is super powerful. And now here's the last secret tip, but please still pay attention because it's super important. Talk scope early when the deadline is non-negotiable. This happens to all of us. Your client says 2 days max, but you know for a fact that it could take way more time to animate a video like this or to edit a video like this. So here's what you should or can reply. Sure, I send you the first version tomorrow as soon as possible, and to hit the 48-hour deadline, we should, for example, use 20% less animations and keep it more simplistic, just in order I can hit the deadline, okay? Is that cool for you? Is that all right for you? So this helps your client to see, okay, this is where we have to kind of like just dial down a couple animations less. Okay, that's cool. But still we hit the deadline and we get a really good video and we can post in time. So here's just a quick recap on how to never miss a deadline ever again. First is under promise and over deliver. Second is build a fake buffer for yourself inside the real deadline. Third is start with the fastest task first, knock that out. Number 4 is color code your timeline. Number 5 is write a next day scoreboard and gamify your daily editing work. 6 is use an SOP. Please just do that. It will change your life. You will never ever have to procrastinate again. Number 7 is pre-edit before you get the footage. So when the footage arrives, you already have the fundamentals down. You already have a couple animations and you don't start with 0. It saves you easily 1 to 4+ hours every single project. Number 8 is talk the project scope early. So when the deadline is non-negotiable, then make sure to communicate with the client and just see what you can do in order to hit the deadline that your client wants. Stick to these 8 habits in your workflow and you will rarely, if ever, miss a deadline again. And if you're a editor who's struggling to find clients in the first place, then make sure to check the first link in the description and join the Editing Elite. Inside the Editing Elite, I show you how to go from 0 to up to 5 and 6K per month as a editor fast. So if you have enough of guessing what to do in order to get editing clients or enough just sending out thousands of emails that never get replies, then you're more than welcome to join the Editing Elite. I'll see you in there. God bless you and have a nice day.